Hello and welcome to your discriminant notes. It's a continuation of the quadratic formula. So as a reminder, the expression under the square root is what we call the discriminant. So that's the b squared minus 4ac. Now the other day we talked about this little box and how many solutions an equation will have. So if b squared minus 4ac is less than 0, so in other words, if it's negative, the number of solutions that the quadratic will have is 0, mainly because we can't take the square root of a negative number. If b squared minus 4ac is equal to 0, the number of solutions is 1, because we're only adding 0 or subtracting 0, which won't change the answer at all. And if b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0, or if it's positive, the number of solutions is 2. We'll have 2 solutions, we'll be good to go. So now let's look at some of these examples. So first, give the value of the discriminant and tell whether the equation has 2 solutions, 1 solution, or no solution. Then, if the equation has a solution or solutions, find it or them. Okay, so let's find the discriminant of this one. So first our a is 1, b is 1, and c is 3. So again, the discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. Okay, so b squared is 1, or b is 1, squared minus 4 times 1 times 3. 1 squared is 1, and then negative 4 times 1 times 3 is negative 12. So 1 minus 12 is equal to negative 11. So our discriminant is negative 11. Now, negative 11 is less than 0, so we have 0 solutions. Okay? So no solutions are possible. So now looking at example 2, again, we need to make sure that it's written in standard form, so we need to get it set equal to 0. So we're going to subtract 12. We get x squared minus 6x minus 12 is equal to 0. Finding our discriminant using b squared minus 4ac, we get a is 1, b is negative 6, and c is negative 12. So negative 6 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 12. Plugging that into your calculator, you should get 84. 84 is positive, so we will have 2 zeros, or solutions. Remember, zeros and solutions are interchangeable. So we carry on to find our zeros. So we have x is equal to, remember the opposite of b, or negative 6, plus or minus. Now we have the 84 under the square root, all over 2 times 1, which happens to be 2. Okay, so negative 6 is a positive 6, plus or minus the square root of 84, all divided by 2. We set up our 2 equations. So x is equal to 6 plus the square root of 84 divided by 2, and x is equal to 6 minus the square root of 84 divided by 2. When we solve each one, here we add the square root of 84 and then divide everything by 2. We get x is approximately 7.58. Again, you should be working through this as well. And then we subtract and we get x is equal to negative 1.58. At this point, I want you to just pause the video and try the examples on the back, and then resume and check your answers. So after solving those 4 examples on the back, let's go over them. So this one's already in standard form. It's already set equal to 0. So we find our discriminant of b squared minus 4ac. Okay, b is 8. So 8 squared minus 4 times our a is 8 times our b of 2. Okay. 8 squared is 64. Negative 4 times 8 times 2 is negative 64. 64 minus 64 is 0. So our discriminant is 0. So that means we have 1 solution. or 1 zeros. Okay? We then complete the rest of our quadratic formula. So we have negative 8 plus or minus the square root of 0 over 2 times 8. Okay, again, the square root of 0 is 0. So now we have negative 8 plus or minus 0 over 16. We're only going to have one solution, so we can ignore our plus or minus 0, and negative 8 divided by 16 is negative 1/2. So our solution is negative 1/2. Number 4, again, we find our discriminant, b squared minus 4ac. So b is negative 9. Negative 9 squared minus 4 times our a of 3 times our b, or times our c of 8. 9 squared is 81. Negative 4 times 3 times 8 is negative 96. 81 minus 96 is negative 15. So our discriminant is negative 15. Since it's negative, that means we have 0 solutions, so we can't find any possible ones. Moving on to example 5. Again, we find our discriminant first of b squared minus 4ac. So b is negative 8. Negative 8 squared minus 4 times 10 times 1. Negative 8 squared is 64. Negative 4 times 10 times 1 is negative 40. 64 minus 40 is 24. So our discriminant is 24. So now we finish out our quadratic formula. So x is equal to negative 8 is positive 8 plus or minus the square root of our discriminant 24 all over 2 times 10, which is 20. Okay, set up our two equations. So x is equal to 8 plus the square root of 24 divided by 20, and x is equal to 8 minus the square root of 24 divided by 20. When we solve each of these and simplify, we get that x is approximately 0.64 and x is approximately 0.16. So our two solutions are 0.64 and 0.16. And obviously, since it was a positive discriminant, we have two solutions. And our final one, again, we need to add 15 to make this in standard form. Okay, we find our discriminant, b squared minus 4ac. B squared is 4, so 4 squared minus 4 times 2 times 15. 4 squared is 16 minus 4 times 2 times 15 is 120. 16 minus 120 is negative 108. Okay, so our discriminant is 108, or negative 108. Since that's negative, we have 0 zeros, and it's not possible to find any. Okay. At this point, if you feel like you need some extra practice, go grab the discriminant extra practice off the back table. Otherwise, move on to your next activity.